by the people that we end up playing with.
Which are some of your favorites?
I'm a huge fan of Brain Dead Romeo. They are amazing. I'm also a huge fan of Mejia. In Darkness is great.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of. There's so many that I could just jump off onto here.
Those are some of our favorites as well.
Oh yeah, no, those three are just top notch. And I'm a little bit biased when I say I really like the Voodoo Hounds. I'm kind of in that band too, but no, there's so many great local bands around here.
They have a good bass player in that band too.
Oh yeah, the great, best bass player ever.
And with the Regina music scene, now were you not from Regina originally? I'm just curious when you said when you came together and played at McNally's and got to get a feel for the audience. Were you?
No, we were all from here. It was just that I think in a lot of ways this band has really helped us sort of break out of our shell, because I know I was extremely introverted and very shy before I did anything. Like the fact that I go up on stage and I know here I am talking into a microphone and being loud and obnoxious. Well, not loud and obnoxious, but do
a metal band.
To go up and stand on a stage and talk in front of a bunch of people 6 years ago, I would have been like freaking out and crying in a corner, and I was extremely introverted, and now you can't get me to shut up. So
your love of music just pushed you to break those barriers, go push those boundaries.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't plan on turning around and going back to cry in that corner again. So,
what would you say to anybody that feels like they're there? How would you encourage them to just take that chance, or just make sure you're ready, or prepare well, or?
I would say know your comfort zone and then ignore it.
Right.
I think the important thing is if you think that that's something I wouldn't be comfortable with, or if that's something that I think would be scary, do it.
It's the only way to get over the fear.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you hear about people that are afraid of flying until they learn how to fly. They get their pilot's license. That's terrifying. But at the same time, those people are never complaining about being in the air anymore. It's just a matter of you got to know your comfort zone and then ignore it and just go out and expand outwards.
If you think back, if you hadn't done that, I mean, where would you be? What would be your philosophy? If you hadn't experienced that, where would you be today?
I think if I didn't do that, I'd probably be playing bass in my basement to an audience of no one. I'd probably working a job that I didn't really like, and I probably wouldn't be too, I wouldn't be too optimistic about the future. I think
that fear would cascade into a lot of other areas of your life. Then
exactly. I think I going back to me crying in a corner. That's pretty much where I'd be. Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't be here talking to you, of course. So
exactly, we wouldn't be talking to our listeners and sharing this really important message.
Of course,
because there's so many people that are reluctant to take that step. I mean, we're dealing with fear of criticism, fear of feedback, and with everybody being online now too. I mean, you're so exposed in so many different ways. You become public so very, very fast.
Yeah,
so it's a whole new world.
And that's one of the things that we really wanted to that even in the last year or so we really wanted to open up to, because we find that there are a lot of bands that end up going out and they have this persona, and that's fine. You can go out and have your persona. That's great. But one thing that we really wanted to establish with our fan base and with the people around us is that we are very genuine. We're very honest. We're very straightforward and open with everybody. We don't want to end up telling anybody like, oh, well, this is happening because we're cool like this. It's more like this is happening because we thought this would be a neat idea, and that's why we started a YouTube vlog. We started doing stuff like that to just sort of get in contact with our fans and let them get to know us personally, as opposed to get to know the band on stage.
Exactly.
Knowing the people that you're going to see really helps. It really establishes a relationship with the person that you're watching.
That's a very, very powerful statement to make, especially the beauty of metal music too, or hard rock music, if you will, is that the message can be very powerful. It doesn't have boundaries and restrictions, so you really can be yourself, can be honest, and that doesn't mean be anything, and just it means freedom.
Absolutely.
Freedom to fully express yourself.
Absolutely.
the song that we played is a powerful song, Apathy, very, very strong song. That was one of the songs you created when your band said, this is what we want to be, this is what the sound, how we want to sound. And Life of Me was like that too, when you did that
Yeah,
one?
Life of Me was the very first one that we wrote with Matt in the band. It was, when Kevin left, we were very much like, okay, now how do we sort of build off of what we've done, but at the same time sort of forge a new identity, because his departure was painful. Well, not it was unexpected and sort of a painful thing. With Matt coming in, it was kind of like a rebirth in a sense. And Matt had this riff just sitting around in his head, for a couple weeks. He played that riff, and that was it. That was the gateway. And
that is fantastic. And you kept your band name and everything, so you didn't have to come up with a whole new identity. You just made a shift in the band, in the sound of the band.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's 11 songs on this album, and there's a new album coming up. I'll just list some of the names here for Crimson, Breathe, Here, Meltdown, The Truth, Perpetual Sin, Liberator, Walls Collide, and Needle. And we'll probably have time, I guess, for one more song from the album.
Sure.
And before we play that, which one would you like to play? Liberator or Walls Collide?
Walls Collide would
probably
be fun.
Okay. Before we get into it, you're creating another album now this year.
Yeah.
And it's due out this fall. Now, this album was released at the Exchange.
Yes.
Very successful event.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 2011.
Yeah.
And now we're at 2013. So has there been any shift in the sound of the band, or any evolution?
Yeah,
or?
There really has been. With As Lies Bind, our first album, one of the things that we did was we were very unsure whether or not there was going to be a second album. We were very unsure, like, this is just sort of a hobby. We're blowing a lot of money on this hobby, but at the same time, we want to make sure that if we're going to put our name out there, we want it to be good. So we threw out as much as we could on that album that we knew would, the songs that would be most ready to be played. Whereas with this album, what we really wanted to do was, we know that there's probably going to be another album after this, because we've gotten to the second one. We're not breaking up anytime soon.
We're in a nice group.
We all love each other. We're best friends outside of the band and inside of the band. We're just,
especially when the majority of you've known each other for
so exactly long. Yeah. And I mean, we really just wanted to push ourselves a little bit. One of the things that, like, when we finished the first album, we jumped into writing immediately. Like, first practice being, we had like 3 new songs just ready to go. So we really wanted to write. We wanted to write a story this time, and it's not like this isn't a rock opera sort of thing, but at the same time, we wanted to not just write songs about, this is how I feel about this. We wanted to write, a story. We wanted to write, the evolution of a character at the start of a song and where he is at the end of it. There's a lot of that in this album.
Nice theme.
It's kind of like a concept album, but it's more like concept songs on an album. It's almost like a collection of stories. It's like an anthology in a sense. It's very much, it's very much like we just wanted to find a sound that was a lot more consistent and a lot more fun for what we were doing. There's almost a dichotomy with that first album where you can hear the songs that we wrote with Kevin and you can hear the songs that we wrote with Matt.
It's a transitional album.
Yeah, it was that's sort of what it sounds like. But for this album, it's all, we all know each other, we all know where we are, we all know our place. And
it's
we
really
all
solid then.
Yes, it's going to be very exciting to release it. We are so pumped to get it finished and get it out to the world. It's going to be
well, I'm excited
amazing.
about it coming out. Then when you come on the show again when it's time.
Absolutely.
Great.
If you'll have us, we'll be here.
Let's do that. We'll
Absolutely.
make a plan for that. Absolutely.
Great.
Sounds wonderful. We're already at the end of our show, so we're going to play the song that we promised. We're going to play Walls Collide. This is Angus from Port Noise, and this brings us already to the close of our showcase. You can find Port Noise on Facebook, and you can get a copy of the album through
you can
Facebook.
get it through Facebook or iTunes or Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on our showcase.
Thanks for having us.
And we shall see you again in the fall.
Sounds great.
And do stay tuned as well. We have Picnic Country up next, a new program here on CJTR. This is Miss Marilyn signing off. Have a wonderful weekend in the music scene.